It's 6 in the morning, right? And bam, the cops totally bust down the door of this guy, Eddie Miller's house. Eddie's freaking out like, whoa, hold on. You can't just barge in here. This has to be a mistake. But the cops flash a warrant and are like, nope, right house. Where's your kid, Jamie? So this one cop, Luke, goes straight to Jamie's room and wakes him up. And you won't believe this. He's like, we're arresting you for murder, and it's only 6:15 a.m. Total insanity. He asks Jamie if he has any weapons or anything sharp. The kid, Jamie, is so scared he gets up and his pants are wet. Can you even imagine? So Luke is like, should I get your dad? And his dad has to come in and change his son's pants while the police are tearing their house apart looking for evidence. It's so messed up. Then this officer, Misha, tells the family, yeah, we've arrested your son for murder. Meanwhile, they're dragging Jamie out to the car and he's just screaming, Dad, Dad! It's heartbreaking. They get to the station to meet the sergeant. Luke goes, we arrested this kid for murder. He's only 13. So the sergeant looks at Jamie as basically like, listen, kid, I don't really care if you did it or not. You just have to answer my questions straight. You know you get a lawyer, right? You got one, or do we need to get you one? Jamie is totally overwhelmed and calls his dad to figure it all out. The sergeant then says a judge approved a detention order, which means they can officially start grilling him. So they throw Jamie in a cell. Poor guy. Then Officer Luke tells Eddie that Jamie needs him to be his appropriate adult. It's this official thing where his dad has to stay with him during all the questioning. After that, a doctor comes in to check if Jamie's all there mentally. She asks him stuff like, do you understand what being arrested means? And Jamie's like, yeah, you think I killed someone. She asks why he needs a lawyer, and he says, so I don't get pressured into saying something wrong. Smart kid. The doctor tells the cops he's mentally stable and ready for questioning. As soon as she leaves, Jamie looks at his dad and goes, I didn't do anything. You believe me, right? His dad gets all choked up and is like, Jamie, I believe you more than I believe myself. It was a whole moment. Then, the lawyer Luke arranged shows up. First, he talks to the family. Then he starts grilling the cops, asking about Jamie's case and if they treated him right, like did they feed him or hurt him. Then the whole process starts. They take Jamie's picture, he meets the lawyer, and then it's time for medical tests. They get his DNA, his fingerprints, his blood, the whole 9 yards. The cops ask for his password code, but his lawyer is immediately like, nope, not happening. And then, get this, the cops tell Jamie to take off his clothes. His dad, Eddie, totally loses it and starts getting mad. But the lawyer explains it's just a protocol they can't refuse. So everyone else has to look away while the police make Jamie strip down in front of his own dad to check his body for any marks or signs of a struggle. Eddie was just completely broken watching his kid go through that. The cops bag up his clothes as evidence and give him some other stuff to wear. After that whole disaster, the lawyer preps Jamie for the interrogation. He tells him, look, your go-to answer for most questions is no comment. Not every single one, because that'll look bad. But for anything about the case, just say, no comment. Your dad and I will be right here. No one's going to pressure you. So the interrogation starts. First question, where were you last night? Jamie just says, no comment. Then Officer Luke tries a different angle. He's like, we got your school report. You're super smart, but it says you've had some behavior problems lately. What's up with that? Jamie just says, I don't know. They ask for his friends' names. And again, no comment. The cops try to be all friendly, like, it's no big deal, they won't get in trouble. But Jamie fires back. After what you did to me, I'm not telling you anything. Then the cops pull out these pictures of some adult content from his Instagram that had a bunch of likes. They're like, what's this all about? You into older girls? And Jamie's like, yeah. But when they ask if he wants a girlfriend like that, he says, no, they're way older than me. They show him pictures of his actual friends from his Instagram. And this time he tells them their names. Luke asks what they do for fun, and Jamie says, they just hang out, have a drink, and play games. So the cops go, were you playing with him last night? Jamie's response is, no comment. And then they drop the bomb. They finally tell him how they connected him to the murder. Last night, at the scene, they didn't find his clothes, but they found his really expensive shoes. And guess what? They had blood on them.
So it turns out Jamie actually burned his clothes to get rid of the evidence. But, and this is the craziest part, he couldn't bring himself to burn his super expensive shoes he was totally obsessed with, and those are the very things that got him caught. Anyway, the cops get right back to it. Officer Misha asks him straight up, hey, you know a girl named Katie? And Jamie's like, yeah. But then he messes up, big time. He asks him, wait, was it a murder? And Officer Luke is instantly on him, like, aha, so you do know what happened last night. Total own goal. Jamie basically just incriminated himself. Then they ask his dad, Eddie, where he was. Eddie says he was working a shift all night, and the cops showed up right after he got home. So he's in the clear. Now they turn back to Jamie and ask him point blank, did you kill Katie? Jamie's all, no way, I didn't kill her. It must have been someone else. You've got the wrong guy. But then they tell him that Katie was stabbed 7 times, and they ask him if he did it. Next, they bust out some pictures from a security camera, and you can clearly see Jamie following this girl. They're like, why were you following her? And Jamie tries to deny it, saying, "That's not me." So they just roll the tape. And there it is, clear as day. First, you see the girl shove Jamie. He gets super angry, grabs her, and then just stabs her and kills her. It's all on camera. Seeing this, Jamie just starts bawling his eyes out. And Eddie, he's completely stunned, like he can't believe his own son could do something so awful. Officer Luke looks at Jamie and says, "Look, man, it's over. We have solid proof you murdered her. You want to at least say sorry to her mom?" But Jamie just stays silent, and that's the end of the interrogation. They leave Eddie and Jamie alone in the room. Jamie looks at his dad and whispers, "I didn't do it, Dad." But Eddie saw the whole thing on the video. Still, he just hugs his son and is like, "What did you do?" So get this, Officer Luke heads over to the school to keep digging. And surprise, his own son goes to the same school, so he shoots him a quick text. He starts by trying to talk to Katie's friend, but she's super rude and won't give him any straight answers. A little later, it's assembly time, and Katie's friend just grabs one of Jamie's friends and starts beating him up, screaming, "You're the one who killed my friend! You're horrible!" Teachers have to come and break it up. Then this other kid comes over and starts bullying the boy who got beaten up, making fun of him for getting hit by a girl, and everyone starts laughing. Luke is looking at all this like, wow, the vibe at this school is seriously messed up. So now Luke decides to question this bully, a kid named Ryan. He pulls him aside and says he wants to ask him some questions about the murder. Luke asks, "How was Jamie's mood yesterday?" And Ryan's just like, "Normal." Then Luke asks the big question, "Do you know anything about the weapon Jamie used to kill her?" Hearing that, Ryan gets totally spooked and tries to just walk away. His reaction is so weird that Luke and Misha know he's hiding something. Right after that, Luke's son Adam finds him and says he needs to talk to him alone. Adam tells his dad, "I want to help you with this case." He shows Luke Jamie's Instagram, and what they find is insane. Katie was totally bullying Jamie online. She was posting nasty stuff, insulting him, challenging him that he'd never get a girlfriend or get married. And all the people who liked her comments were piling on, bullying him right along with her. Adam tells his dad there are tons of comments just like that, and that they should really look into it. Luke asks his son if he gets bullied too, but Adam says no. Luke goes straight to Misha and is like, "Everything we thought about the Instagram stuff was completely wrong. Jamie wasn't the bad guy here. Katie was. She and her friends were bullying him." The principal hears this and feels terrible. But they still don't know where Jamie got the knife or what the final straw was. Luke figures Raya has to know something, so he rushes to his classroom to catch him. Ryan sees him coming and tries to sneak out the back door, but Luke grabs him. Luke asks him, "Why was Katie insulting Jamie?" Ryan tries to deflect, saying, "Why don't you ask his other friends? Why are you picking on me?" But the officer gets serious and is like, "A girl is dead. You need to understand this. Did you give him the weapon?" Luke keeps pressing him, and finally, Ryan breaks. He admits the weapon was his. So bam! The cops arrest Ryan too, figuring he might be involved and they can get the rest of the story at the station. Meanwhile, Eddie, who's just mortified by what his son did, goes to the spot where Katie was killed. He leaves a bouquet of flowers and says a prayer for her. It's really sad. Then, in the next scene, a psychiatrist shows up to evaluate Jamie's mental state. She brings him a sandwich and just tries to make small talk with him. After a while of this, Jamie gets impatient and is like, "Why aren't you getting to the point?" He tells her he wants to see her notes and know what she's writing about him. The psychiatrist says, "Sorry, can't show you. This is for the judge to help him understand your mental state." This makes Jamie really mad. He's like, "Why don't you just throw me in jail already? Why do you keep bothering me?" The psychiatrist explains they don't have a proper place for you yet and that where you are now is secure. But Jamie completely snaps. He stands up and yells, "This place is a torture center. I hear someone screaming every minute." He gets so worked up he knocks over his cup. All the noise brings a guard to run and check if everything's okay. The psychiatrist totally lies and says everything is fine. Then she steps outside for a second and we see her watching the CCTV footage of Jamie's freakout, trying to analyze his body language. After that, she storms back into the room and says to Jamie, "I didn't come here to get your confession."
Okay, so the psychiatrist is back and she's like, "I just want to understand you." And suddenly Jamie is all, "Fine, whatever, I'll answer your questions." First, she asks how his dad treats his mom, and Jamie immediately gets defensive, like, "My dad has nothing to do with this. Leave him out of it." Then she asks if he likes any girls, and oh man, he totally blows up. He starts yelling, "Girls don't like me. They won't even come near me because I'm ugly." The psychiatrist just asks, "Oh, then how does that make you feel?" Which was the absolute wrong thing to say. Jamie gets so mad and is like, "You shouldn't have asked that. You were supposed to tell me I'm cute. Can't you just act like a normal person? Do you have any idea what it's like to be ugly?" He even says the last psychiatrist was better because at least he got it.
When she mentions that the judge needs two opinions, Jamie just loses it again and starts shouting. A guard has to come in and tell him to calm down. Jamie turns on the psychiatrist all furious, like, what was that about? You think you're some kind of queen that I have to be told to talk to you nicely? He's pacing around super angry, and honestly, the psychiatrist looks terrified, like he might actually do something. Once he chills out a bit, she starts again. She brings up how he told her that he and his friends got bullied all the time, that kids would spit on them and beat them up. She asks if it's true, and Jamie's just like, yeah, it's true. Then she brings out screenshots of his Instagram comments, the ones from Katie where she's just destroying him online and everyone is liking it and ganging up on him. The psychiatrist asks, did she only do this to you? And Jamie says, yeah, just me, because I'm ugly. So she asked him, what did you say back to her? And get this, Jamie gets super weird and says, I know you're asking because you saw the video of the murder, but you can't make me confess. You can only see a boy in the footage. Are you sure it's me? That video could be fake. But then he says the craziest thing. I didn't kill her, but I should have. I asked her out and she just bullied me. I could have done anything I wanted that night, but I let her go. Total psycho moment. The psychiatrist just tells him he really needs to get some mental health help. As she's leaving, he gets aggressive again, asking her, what do you think of me? Do you like me? Tell me! He tells her not to tell anyone what he said, and it gets so bad a guard has to drag him back to his room. And while he's being dragged away, he's screaming, tell my dad I'm fine here! The psychiatrist is just left thinking, what a messed up kid. He's not even a tiny bit sorry that he murdered a girl. Then, bam, we jump forward 13 months. Jamie's family is still a total wreck. It's Eddie's birthday, but it's the saddest birthday ever. He gets a card from Jamie with a little sketch inside. Then his daughter comes in and tells him someone wrote the word nonce on their car. Total disaster. Eddie flips out, goes to clean it off, and sees it's permanent paint. He's so paranoid now that he makes his wife and daughter come with him to the car shop because he's afraid to leave him alone. He starts screaming at his neighbors, accusing them, but they just blow him off. Then his two kids on bikes ride by and yell a nasty comment at him. Eddie just snaps. He knows it was them. He starts sloppily painting over the word on his car himself, and when he sees the kids again, he drops the paint, chases them down, and grabs one of them. He's screaming, "Why did you do this?" The kid is terrified and says it was just a joke. Eddie loses it and is like, a joke? Is our family a joke to you? And slaps the kid hard. He throws the kid's bike after him as he runs away. His whole life is just rage now. Then, right in the middle of all this, his phone rings. It's Jamie, calling from the detention center to wish him a happy birthday. Eddie's trying to be normal, like, thanks for the call, are you okay? And Jamie's like, I'm fine. I'm used to the bad stuff. And then he drops a bomb. I think I'm going to confess now. The car goes totally silent. Jamie says it again. I'm sorry, Dad. I'll admit to what I did. Everyone is just crushed. Later, Eddie's wife tries to comfort him, saying it's for the best. She's like, at least he can move on and so can we. And think about it. We know Jamie is alive. That girl's mother will never see her daughter again. They wonder if they messed up somewhere as parents. The whole thing ends with Eddie going into Jamie's empty bedroom. It's exactly how he left it, filled with all his stuff he'll never get to use again. And Eddie just stands there and completely breaks down, sobbing. And that's it. We never even see Jamie get sentenced or anything. The story just ends right there.